India and its space program has reached such a stage that a new rocket lifting from Indian soil is not a very new thing. ISRO has been doing that since the 60s, but this one is different. This rocket wasn't built by a government agency with a grand budget and 50 years of history. It was built by a private company, a startup, and it just gave India something it never had before, its own private ticket to space. This is the story of VIKRAM 1. Built by Skyroot Aerospace and launched as part of a mission called Agaman. The word means arrival, and that's exactly what this is, the arrival of India's private space age. Over the next few minutes, we'll break down how this rocket works, why it matters, and where India's space story goes from here. To understand why VIKRAM 1 is such a big deal, you need to rewind a bit. In 1969, ISRO was born, and for the next 50 years, if you wanted to launch something into space from India, ISRO was the only way to do it. Space was a government job, full stop. Then, in 2020, something shifted. India created a new body called In Space. Think of it as a regulatory gateway, and that finally let private companies build and launch their own rockets. 2 years later, in 2022, Skyroot made history with VIKRAM S, India's first ever privately built rocket. And now, in 2026, VIKRAM 1 takes it a step further. This is India's first private rocket to actually reach orbit.
Minus 25 seconds.
Here's the number that puts it all in perspective.
Minus 20.
There are now over 400 space startups in India. This isn't a one-off story. It's an entire industry being built in real time. So what actually is VIKRAM 1? It's a small satellite launch vehicle, 22 meters tall, roughly the height of a 7-story building. Its job is simple, to describe, hard to do. Carry small satellites up to 350 kilograms and drop them precisely into orbit, about 450 kilometers above the Earth. It does this using 3 solid fuel stages and 1 liquid fuel upper stage. We'll get into what actually means in a minute, but for now, just picture a rocket built specifically for smaller, nimbler space missions. This kind that's exploding in demand right now. Let's geek out for a second on the numbers because they tell a story of their own. VIKRAM 1 stands 22 meters tall, about 1.7 meters wide, and weighs around 30 tons a liftoff. That's heavier than a fully loaded truck. All of it needed just to push a 350 kilogram satellite into space. Its body is made of carbon composite, the same category of material used in Formula 1 cars and fighter jets, because in rocketry, every kilogram you save on structure is a kilogram you can spend on payload. Here, payload means the spacecraft that you want to send to the space, and that's doing your job about research and any other thing. The power comes from 2 engines families, the Kalam solid motors and Raman liquid stage. And steering all of this is a quad redundant avionics system, meaning the brain of the rocket has 4 backups. So if one system fails, 3 others are still watching the mission. Here is where it gets genuinely fascinating, how a rocket actually gets from the launch pad to the orbit. Think of it like a relay race with 4 runners, except each runner is a rocket stage, and they literally fall away once their job is done. Stage 1, called Kalam 1200, is the powerhouse. It's the biggest, strongest push, the one that has to fight gravity and get this heavy vehicle off the ground. Stage 2, Kalam 250, takes over next, keeping that thrust going and building up speed. Stage 3, Kalam 100, adds the final burst of velocity needed to get close to orbital speed. And then stage 4, the Raman liquid engine, is the finishing touch. Unlike the solid stages before it, this one can restart multiple times and fine tune its thrust. That's crucial because dropping a satellite into exactly the right orbit isn't like throwing a ball. It's like threading a needle from hundreds of kilometers away. This stage does that threading. Now let's talk about a little what makes Vikram 1 more than just another rocket. First, the carbon composite structure we mentioned, lightweight but incredibly strong, so the rocket carries less deadweight and more payload. Second, 3D printed engines. Instead of machining complex engine parts the traditional way, Skyroot prints the combustion chambers and injectors. This means faster production and shapes that would be nearly impossible to make with old school manufacturing. Third, indigenous avionics. Every part of the guidance and navigation system is designed and built in India. That's not a small flex. It means India is not dependent on anyone else for the brain of its rockets. And fourth, maybe the most eyebrow-raising one, 72-hour launch readiness. Traditional rockets can take 2 weeks to prep for launch. Vikram 1 is built to go from storage to liftoff in just 3 days. That kind of speed changes what's even possible in the space business. Now, let's walk through the actual mission, Agaman. From liftoff to payload deployment, the rocket launches from India's spaceport, climbs through the atmosphere, sheds its stages one by one, and eventually settles into a 450-kilometer orbit we talked about earlier. Then the final and the most important moment, deploying the payloads it carried all this way. And those payloads tell a story of their own. On board were real scientific instruments, Scope, a research payload, Solaris S3, built to observe the sun, DCU bed, a technology demonstrator, and Embrace, which tests the technology for tackling orbit debris. Basically, space junk cleanup. But there were also symbolic payloads, Cosmic Bloom, an art science installation, and commemorative micro rocket. Small touches that mark this moment as something worth remembering, not just another satellite drop. So why should any of this matter to you, even if you are not into rockets? For India as a country, this is huge. It means India now has its first private orbital launch capability. A real commercial launch ecosystem is starting to form that draws private investment, fuels more startups, and builds an industry that didn't really exist here a few years ago. And here's the part people often miss. This doesn't compete with ISRO. It frees ISRO up. When private companies like Skyroot handle satellite launches, ISRO gets to focus on its energy on the bigger, harder missions. Gaganyaan, India's crewed spaceflight program, Chandrayaan, moon missions, Aditya L1 Solar Research, and Deep Space Science. It's a partnership, not rivalry. Skyroot's already planning Vikram 2 with more payload capacity and better reusability, and Vikram 3 aimed at heavy lift missions deploying entire satellite constellations and eventually deep space readiness. It's a classic scaling story. Start small, prove it works, and build bigger, more capable versions as demand grows. Vikram 1 isn't just a rocket. It's proof that space in India no longer belongs to only government agencies. It belongs to entrepreneurs, engineers, and startups willing to bet on the impossible. The future of Indian space flight has officially lifted off. Jai Hind.